Hey there, I'm Brittany Schroeder, and business and marketing are my jam. I'm here to walk you step by step through this crazy thing we call business. I'm a small town girl, chocolate eating, Diet Coke drinking mom, marketing guru, automation Jedi, and all around good time. This is your weekly dose of all things business and life, sprinkled with some fun. This is the Redefine Business Podcast. Welcome to another episode of Redefine Business Podcast. I'm excited for my guest today. I was at a wrestling tournament and I met Robert there and tried his yummy food. And then I kind of been following him on social media and I reached out to him and said, come be on my podcast. I want to hear your story. This is one that a business that I haven't done before. We did have somebody that made sourdough the other day. That's the closest thing to food. But welcome to the podcast, Robert Molling of 1% Fitness Kitchen. Welcome, Robert.
Howdy.
All right, Robert, tell my listeners a little bit about you. Like, how did you get to where you're at now?
Lots and lots of struggles. As a youth raised in a different home that's not typical for Utah, substance abuse, other stuff like that. At a young age, I had to learn how to cook and discovered that I enjoyed cooking for people. Went through tons of trials, substance abuse throughout my youth and incarcerated, made poor choices and inevitably ended up in a rehab and started incarcerated, found, a lot of people find either God or fitness. I found a combination of both and ended up in a treatment facility. Spent about 18 months there in the regular treatment facility and then post living. They call it kind of a transitional housing. And in there, as I was, looking for jobs, which was difficult, nobody wanted to hire somebody with tattoos and a rap sheet. And so got a job at a car wash and started going to school for fitness technician and nutrition. Got multiple personal training certifications and quickly discovered that the problem wasn't the training, because I'd write plans for people, they wouldn't follow it. And so to save money, I always did my weekly meal prep. And I was going into my barber's to get my haircut. And one of my training clients saw me eating the food that I'd prepared and asked me to make food for him. And I obliged and just said, hey, buy my food for me because I'm cooking anyways. And he had an amazing transformation and everybody in the office wanted to follow along. And that's where it started, out of my house with, paper writing. And, I'd have 30 to 40 people come into my home, rip my whole kitchen apart, do skin fold calipers, progress pictures, track them. And then 2013, ended up renting a kitchen 1 day a week. Inevitably grew into 5 days a week. 2016, I acquired that kitchen and just continued to implement systems, operations, and focused a lot more of my education and knowledge specifically on nutrition.
So now, today, 2026, what does that look like? Like, how many meals a week are you do you do the delivery or do people pick them up or how does it work?
So we got a combination of both. Initially, it started as just pick up at my Sandy location. We started local home delivery, and post that, when we built a new facility in 2020, right during the height of COVID, we started shipping nationwide.
Okay, that is awesome. That is incredible. So, was it your marketing? Like, what do you do for marketing? At first, obviously, it was like word of mouth, and it just kept spreading. And then, how did it evolve into nationwide?
So it started word of mouth, guerrilla marketing, putting flyers on doors, being present at booths, FitCon, Pinners events. And then also when Bossa used to be Gold's Gym, we had our marketing material underneath all of the TVs. And then we'd also do weekly booths. I think it was 13 different locations that we would just set up and just sample. I think it was 2019 or 2018. Vossa did away with the boothing and other things like that. And so we kind of dove into Meta. I guess it was called Facebook at the time, but dove into Instagram, Meta, we've tried a lot of different resources or avenues for marketing. And as the years have gone by, I think, I'm confident, but the 2020 iOS 13 update, when they changed everything, it became a completely different beast. Now, when I started, we were one of the first kind of trailblazers for the meal prep. I spent about 5 years and $500,000 developing my first WordPress website, where we didn't even have a picture of our food on there. Whatever somebody bought was exactly what we were producing. They didn't really have the options to pick and choose. And when we switched facilities in 2020, or got the new facility, we switched over to a Shopify site, which was a lot less expensive to manage and create. And they had all types of plugins for subscription modules. And so initially we were just gambling based on views and couldn't really see conversions. But now we have some pretty good transparency into what's going on with our paid ads.
Yeah. So, okay. So as you grow, like you have a background in fitness and then you started to learn nutrition. So did you learn all this on your own, like building a WordPress website and the marketing, or were you outsourcing that? Or were you just kind of like, I'm going to figure this out? Like, because that's a lot, you know?
It is. When you take on that entrepreneurial hat and you want to keep production costs low, and I'm still 100% equity owner in my company, I learned the back end of Facebook's marketing dashboard. I spent a good amount of time learning Photoshop and different programs that I could do myself. Hindsight, there's different programs like Fiverr or Upwork. Now there's AI that can do all of it for you, but hindsight, I would have definitely found somebody to take those, because I would spend hours and hours with my obsessiveness doing different designs, and I could hand that off to somebody, and with the right freelancer, it's 20 to 30 bucks, which would have saved me a lot of time.
Yeah. I think though, because like my background is I was a photographer for, 15 years, and I owned a photography magazine. And I was just kind of learning as I go. But one of the things that I love though is like, and I'm somebody who like, I can build a WordPress website, I can build a Shopify, and I've just kind of learned, I love it that I know how to do it though. And that I can like, so now when I do outsource, I know what I'm doing, because a lot of business owners, especially if they haven't had to hustle from the beginning, like they pay people and then people don't do a good job, or they, like they don't know what they're doing. Facebook ads is a big one. I've taken a ton of courses on Facebook ads, but it's constantly changing. And so now I always say, find somebody who knows what they're doing, but know enough about it that you don't get taken advantage of, because I also think there's a lot of people out there that don't know what they're doing. So
there is, as I transited from me running it all myself, Facebook ads, dove into TikTok a little bit. They're all different learning curves. And if you have that essential knowledge of what's going on, it benefits because you can give them better guidance. But I mean, I've been through a handful of different agencies, and there was a window of time when I took completely 6 months off of no advertising because the company that was doing it prior was doing a poor job. And then I jumped back in and outperformed him. And I was like, okay, why am I handing this off? But I mean, you look at it and there's the production operations and then the marketing and the C-level executive things. I mean, I've always had a bookkeeper because I hate numbers. Like when we go into bookkeeping meetings, I start falling asleep.
Yeah.
Because that's not my expertise.
Yeah. You have to stay in your zone of genius for sure. And I always say automate, delegate, eliminate. So if you have the ability to delegate, do it, because then your time is better spent doing other things. So,
well, I think also the things that you enjoy so you don't get burnt out.
Oh yeah, for sure. So now you're shipping like all over like the US, but I still see you, because I've seen you actually at a couple places, but you're still the face and the name of your brand. Like you're still out there, you're still networking. Utah's a great hub, because I feel like, I mean, maybe other states are like this too, but I feel like Utah is like all these entrepreneurs, all these like, fitness is a big deal here. And so, there is something really powerful about in-person networking and getting out there. So.
Absolutely. And there's a complexity with trying to have a personal brand. And then, because initially, I knew all of the customers, I would spend time up front handing out meals, I would generate the relationships. And we've done eight-week transformation challenges where we scan people, do their body composition, track them for 8 weeks, get to know them. There was a weird window of time where it went from like, I'm the person to it's now automated and it's a system. And so it's kind of, but what's fun is I still have the opportunity to go out there, shake hands. I still go out and knock doors, go to corporate offices and introduce it, because when people try the food versus, because we're starting to lean away from paid ads because they're not performing as well, because they're so, I mean, if you open up Instagram, you slide up 3 and you see like 15 ads by the time you've seen 5 posts.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think people are getting burnt out on that. And so not necessarily guerrilla marketing, but I'm seeing a lot more success with getting out there, getting in front of people and actually giving them an opportunity to taste the food. When I look back on it, like the name 1% Fitness, we've commonly been confused with the gym, right? And in the past, I would have the opportunity to kind of explain the differential. But now that it's a larger name, we had to add the word kitchen to it, to the logo, just to identify that that is what we do. And so, I mean, if I could back up a handful of years, I would probably change the name, but was terrified to do so just because there was such a good recognition, especially in the state with the brand.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sometimes it benefits you, even though there can be some confusion. Do you do much affiliate marketing or influence marketing? Like, what does that look like for you? Because obviously there's a lot of people out there in the fitness industry.
Yeah, that one's rough. So I've got a whole back end dashboard that automates all of that. But the quantity of people that actually perform versus the ones that just come out and get free food, we have a handful of different platforms that we're present on, but it is a very consuming process. And the better you can create the SOPs and expectations of what content you want created, because again, it's become very, very like saturated with, it's not really that. Initially, it was like, hey, I see this person, it doesn't feel like an ad. When it doesn't feel like an ad, people feel more confident about buying. But now it's like everybody's doing an unboxing, everybody's got a promo code, and we still run that playbook. But we're like our next move versus, because I'm sending out a box of meals and my fixed cost to have somebody try my product is significantly higher than a supplement, right? And so I send out a box, I'm 30 to 40 bucks on shipping, 40 to 70 bucks on product. So 110 bucks. And if it doesn't perform, then I'm just out that money. And so our next big push, and this will kind of go on social within the next week, is we'll be doing a giveaway of, it's limited to 100, but we'll be doing 1 pound of our bulk proteins, where you can pay shipping $5.99. We'll ship a box out or a single meal out to you to allow the person to try it. And anything in business, if the data and the analytics will show whether or not it's a valuable investment. And so I would say within the next week and a half, we'll have that campaign launched. And then naturally, we're just going to observe, see how it performs. Because I can get a box, including shipping out to somebody for sub $15.
Yeah, yeah. And that's marketing, is like, honestly, you really never know like what's going to work. And I agree with you, like with the influence marketing, people are kind of onto it, So even myself, like I see somebody and I'm like talking about a product and I'm like, do they really like that product, or they're just getting paid? And so I think we're losing that like authentic, like vibe, with some influencers, people are like onto that, so it's tricky. And I've had clients that have been influencers, and it is a lot of work. It's hard, and you want it to be real and authentic. And people are just, some people just don't have that, that vibe. It's hard to, and you never know. Like I've worked with influencers where they like, I need content, and it's kind of pulling teeth sometimes. So it's hit or miss, I would say. So
My least favorite with like paid collaborations where they expect the money up front. We've done that, I think, twice, and it didn't perform. And I've had people that have reached out like on it's called Social Cat, one of the ones that we use. and we'll have people reach out and say, and it's very clear that the campaign is an affiliate campaign. And we built it where normal people are like, hey, we want 5,000 up front for one post, two stories. I built my affiliate campaign in the sense of most people are like, hey, we'll pay you one time up front. I want to build that relationship and to give them the opportunity to earn free food if they get 10 conversions. And then I also do reoccurring 20%, 20 to 10% commission on anything that they get referred to us. And so strategically, whatever influencer affiliate I work with, their first 1 to 2 videos, they can't mention their discount code just so it feels authentic.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then after that, then they can. And one of the things that we've been trialing and testing is the whitelisting function, where it will just show, instead of a collaboration, it will just go directly to their audience and it will appear as just them.
Yeah. Yeah. So it doesn't look as paid. Yeah, that's good. Well, I'm not an paid influencer or affiliate, but I've tried Robert's food and it is so good. So there you go. That is real. That is authentic. I don't know what that'll do for you, but like it's really good food. Really,
it warms my heart.
Yeah, it's really good. And I think that so we have a mutual friend. That's how we met. And he has a Stack Academy. Aren't you? You work with them and you provide the meals. You were doing meals for the students. And I was teaching entrepreneurship for 6 weeks. And so I would come in after lunch and they were eating the meals and the kids loved the meals. The kids loved all of the meals. So I can verify that the meals are very, very good. So, well, I love that. So so you said that you're doing the delivery and then you just said you're opening a second business, or you already have it, or what was the second one you were talking about?
So initially, when I started out of my facility in Sandy, I was renting one day a week, and it was a shared kitchen. I would share with a bunch of other people. I think year 2 or 3, I ended up commandeering the whole kitchen, and nobody else could really be in there because we were taking up all the space. And when we started building my Lehigh facility, I built 2 sections, and it's 10,000 square feet. And so one section's my production area. And then we built a secondary area for allergies or food restrictions. Discovered in our processes that we didn't need it. And so I still own the Sandy kitchen and I turned it back into its roots, which was a commissary kitchen. Companies that don't have the capital to build their own kitchen only need limited amount of time or space. That's kind of who we help and guide. The onboarding to get, your Department of Ag, Department of Health, business license, FEIN number, all of those different things that you have to do to get an operational business. It's not an easy task, especially when you're like, okay, my food is packaged, my food is served immediately. They go into different buckets or governing bodies. And so my Sandy location, we have 11 tenants that utilize the space in Sandy. They rent, some rent 7 days a week, some rent 2 days a week, and sell their product, kind of like I did, sell their product out of the front of the facility. And then food trucks, they always need a location to register to dump gray water, do prep, store materials. And so my Lehigh location, my secondary kitchen services is exactly that, where, a startup rolls in, and there's a couple of really cool, I call it an incubation kitchen. But like Radizio Grill here in Utah, San Diablo's Churros, Spudley Donuts started their operations here, stayed here. One of them's still here, but two of them are still here. But they get enough foundation and revenue and prove the concept, and then we'll go out and get their own location. Spudley opened up one in Linden, but then they still utilize MySpace as a distribution point for all the customers that are familiar with this spot being a pickup location.
Yeah, very cool. Well, that's awesome. It's cool. What a cool story though, from like what you've been, where you started and where you are now. Like that is awesome. That's a really incredible story. So, okay, Robert, how can my listeners find you and get in touch with you, give you a follow on socials, or order food from you?
Cool. So website is 1%fit.com, numeric 1. And the socials is 1 and then percent spelled out fit, F-I-T, or fitness, you'll see this logo. And then you know you're at the right spot. And then if you're ever in Lehigh, you're welcome to swing by Monday through Wednesday and stop by and say, hey, I saw this podcast. Let me have a free lunch.
Awesome. Okay. I'm going to do that because I'm in Lehigh. I'm going to come grab a free lunch. So, well, awesome. Okay, Robert, I like to end all of my podcasts with asking my guests 2 questions. The first one is, what is a pet peeve?
I would say sticking by their word. Like when somebody makes a commitment and doesn't show up to the commitment, it drives me absolutely crazy. Because if you're not going to do it, don't say that you're going to do it.
Exactly. That's one of mine too, for sure. Okay. Simple pleasure, something that brings you joy. That's simple and easy.
The gym and quiet.
Yeah.
I have 5 kids, and so my house is always a zoo. And so when there's a small moment when my phone's not ringing and I can just be, that's one of my favorite pleasures. And mangoes. I love mangoes.
Mangoes. Okay. That's a good one. Good one. Well, thank you, Robert. This has been fun. Give Robert a follow and check him out. Thanks, Robert.
Nice chatting with you.
Let's not stop the party here. Head on over to my Instagram or Facebook group, Redefine Your Business, and let me know your thoughts about today's show. I will see you again, same time, same place, next week.